Hey, what's going on, everybody? Manny here once again. Welcome to DFS Zone. I have a new NBA DFS video for you guys today, but before I get started, like always, I appreciate you guys drop a like on the video. If you're new to the channel, it's your first time here, never seen any of my videos before, thank you so much for stopping by and taking a look. The only thing you have to do to be a part of the community, get access to the videos, and I do NBA videos 6 days a week right now, Monday through Saturday, until the NFL season is concluded. When the NFL season concludes, we will be doing Sunday videos as well as streams and so on and so forth. So a lot to come your way. So if you're interested in that kind of information, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the community is become a subscriber. So make sure that you subscribe down below before you go. And don't forget to put on your post notifications, that bell icon. Turn that on so this way you don't miss out on any of my videos. With that being said, today is Saturday. It is November the 11th, 2019, and we have a 4-gamer today, which is a pretty small slate for a Saturday. And before we get started, I do a weekly giveaway here for a player pool, which I prefer to give the player pool to those individuals. I give out one a week, and you'll get a player pool for an entire week. And the drawing is every Monday. So if you're interested in that, the only thing you need to do to be a part of the drawing is like the video, comment on the video down below regarding the slate, anything regarding the slate or any questions you may have about the slate, any players that you may like. Let's just, interact with each other in that capacity there in the comment section. And of course, you have to be a subscriber to the channel, and you are in the drawing on Mondays, and the new winner will be announced on Monday. Okay. Other than that, all right, so let's get to last night. Last night recap, obviously not a bad night at all. The only guy that I gave you guys that did not do well at all was Taurean Prince. So if you played some of the other guys, you did fairly well. Obviously, Trae Young had a big night. So did Andrew Wiggins. I think Whiteside was pretty much at value. I expected him to be over 50. I didn't do bad at all. I made some money last night, finally, for the first time in 3 days. I was breaking even for like 3 days straight, and last night I made about 60, 70 bucks. Not a whole lot to brag about, but there was some money made. There was some tournaments that I was in the running there for a little bit, top 100, top 200, but it didn't pan out exactly. But again, hey, the beauty about NBA DFS is that you can go at it again today. So a nice, interesting slate for us today. Yesterday, I also started giving you guys some insights, some little tips and strategies to use during large slates like 8, 9, 10. Yesterday was the 11-game slate. I advise you guys that you should be looking at having multiple core players in a large slate like that. Today is slightly different. So today's tips and strategies would be, obviously, it's a 4-game slate. I always tell you, if you've seen my videos in the past, even last year, I always recommended these. I gave you guys these tips and strategies throughout the season, off and on, and I haven't done them this year yet. So I figured yesterday was a large 11-game slate. It was important for me to share that information with you guys. I know there was a little bit of an audio issue. I think I rectified that, so hopefully the audio is better. I never had an audio issue before, but I let my little guy use the microphone a couple of days back for his game streaming, and I think he took something out of whack between my computer and his. But anyway, nonetheless, I think I straightened it out last night, so hopefully you hear me a lot better today. So strategies for today and tips. 4-game slate, all players are available. Now, granted, you always still want to look for value. Okay, that's a key tip. It's very important. On a 4-game slate like this, also, you're still looking at the implied totals. You want to have some interest in those players, but you want players that are good GPP plays. Today is more, for me, as a GPP player, I'm always looking for GPP plays, even on a large slate. But today, more so than ever, you can make lineups that'll be good for cash, but it's strictly more 2, 3 games, even up to as much as 4-game slates. You can target more looking for GPP plays. That's what I would recommend. It's entirely up to you. I mean, you don't have to go that route. If you're a cash play player, you're going to try to find the best cash plays. And there will be some guys that are good cash play players that are capable of meeting value for you guys, and at the same time, be able to exceed value and be a great GPP play for someone like myself. But today, that's what we're going to be targeting. I think that the right thing to do is to try to make a couple of lineups. And today, also another key tip also to remember, if you are playing one line, today is the perfect line to try to find one core group of 5 or 6 players. I don't recommend having 2 or 3 core lines on a 4-game slate. you should be able to make one solid line that you can build around through all your entries. So that's what I would recommend today. So today is a great GPP day, and it's also a great day also to make one core line. So those are the key tips I got to let you guys know there. Today is also a great day to do team stacks or game stacks. So look to game stack those games that have high implied totals and look to see if you have players there that are integral parts of their offenses and get more than enough touches and enough usage rate to be able to set yourself up to have 5, maybe even 6 players in that particular game, and then be able to build the rest of your lineups according to some of the other games on the slate. So that's what I recommend also today. And there are a couple of games with pretty decent implied totals that you should, and I already looked into it. I know I can build 5 or 6 players out of it. So keep that in mind and make sure you work on that. So those are the key things. Those are the key tips today, man. Try to focus on GPP lines. Try to make one core solid line, and at the same time try to target some team stacks and game stacks that are in favorable matchups with good usage rate. Obviously, you want not only that, you want the player to be playing sufficient enough minutes. Of course, I always preach here minutes, usage, and shots. So if you're able, and that's like kind of like the basic information you really should be looking for when it comes to NBA DFS, because NBA DFS is the more predictable sport as far as fantasy point totals are concerned when it comes to team sports, as opposed to football and as opposed to baseball. All right, so we can predict the player's outcome a little bit better by just using those. But again, there's a lot more that you can go into after that. You're looking at matchups, you're looking at who is guarding who, and then you can go into a little bit of team statistics as well. But that's for a larger scale. So I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for those guys, those individuals that are kind of new to NBA DFS or just into it like the first year or so, not into it with a huge bankroll. So this is more catered to those individuals. All right, enough of that yapping. Just wanted to give you some tips, go over the recap of yesterday. Let's get into today's slate. So at the top, we got Luca da Judge at 10,600. And if I'm going to take Luca da Judge over Russell Westbrook, I'm going to do that simply because he's in a better matchup today, simply because, for one, he lost. He's a little pissed off last night. He lost to my Knickerbockers last night. Good job, New York Knicks. But Luca da Judge did make some key critical errors late in the game last night that cost his team possibly the game. So I think he's going to bounce back. He had a huge game against the Knicks last night. He should have another huge game. And the other thing is also, this guy is only 20 years old. He's not going to be tired. There's no minutes restrictions. I did, before getting on here to do the video, did get the notification that KP is out. I had a feeling KP will either get reduced minutes or possibly get the day off on a back-to-back because he's coming back from a major injury. So Luca da Judge is going to be probably the more popular play. And I'm going to put him on here because I just can't pass him up. If I'm looking at $600 difference and I'm a GPP player, I want the guy with the biggest upside. And right now, knowing that he is going to be available tonight, even though he's on a back-to-back, I want Luca da Judge, over Russell Westbrook. Westbrook is in a favorable matchup as well against Chicago. Should be someone you're going to have exposure to. I will in some of my lines, but as a core play, I'm going to have to just stick with Luca, even though I know out of the guards tonight, he's probably going to be the most popular. But if you want to win a GPP, sometimes you got to have 1 or 2 players. I've had people ask me, well, why, you're recommending players that are probably going to be highly owned. Well, there's nothing wrong with having a few players that are highly owned. The longest you surround those players with some good value and players that are going to be more than likely, least likely owned, that's going to give you the best chance and the edge as far as winning GPP, at least in my opinion. So Luca da Judge is someone I'm not going to pass up today. I'm going to play him strictly when KP is off the court. His usage rate goes even further through the roof. It's bad enough that he is one of the top high usage rate players in the league. He is the most important player in the Dallas Mavericks offense, and I expect the ball to continue to revolve around him. His numbers are great. Go through them real quickly. 28 points. He's averaging more than 34 minutes a game. Played 35 minutes last night. Put 38 floor points in 35 minutes. That's more than 1 floor point per minute. So you can imagine his fantasy point total is at 1.5, 1.6. But again, 28 points per game, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. He's pretty much a double-double, triple-double any single night. And as you can see, he's 3 out of his last 4 games. He's had triple-doubles. He's put up 62 or better in 3 out of his last 4 games, so we know he has 60-point upside. He has a shot tonight. If his shots continue to go down for the amount of shots he's going to take, he could probably put up 70 tonight. All right, shooting 47% from the floor, 32% from 3. His usage rate is 14th best in the NBA. He's being utilized 33% of the time. Okay, and when there's no KP, it bumps up all the way to about 36.5%. So he's going to take a huge amount of shots. He's taking right now currently 19 to 20 shots a game. That's going to definitely go up a little bit more today. 7 to 8 threes per game. He's going up against Memphis. Memphis is giving up 40.3 fantasy points per game to opposing guards, point guards, and that's the second highest on this actual slate. Okay. So he's in a very, very good spot here against Memphis. The guys that have played against Memphis, Jared Culver put up 31, Harden put up 68, Irving put up 62, and Kendrick Nunn put up 36. So you got two rookies there putting over 30, and then you got two other veterans that are top tier point guards in Harden as well as Irving. That are guards that put up huge numbers against this defense before. So again, I do like Luca da Judge, and I love the idea that there is no KP today. Now, granted, if you want to save some money and you want to take a shot on somebody that's going to be least likely owned and could still have the possibilities of putting up 50 or more tonight, is Russell Westbrook, and I will have him in a few of my lineups because I make multiple lineups. But my core point guard for me in most of my lineups is going to be Luca. All right. There are some options. I'm not high on Ja Morant here, but Terry Rozier had a poor game. I gave you guys him in his last matchup against his former organization. He did not come through. It's a bounce back game for him, just like Drew Holiday had that bounce back. Trae Young had the bounce back game. I froze up there for a minute. Terry Rozier has that opportunity to do that today. Another guy that's going to be someone that you can consider today for sure, could get you 30 to 35 to 40 is Chris Paul. I do think that Satoransky could be a very sneaky $5,100 play, so definitely he is an option for you guys as well. We're going to go over to shooting guard. At shooting guard, we have James Harden at the top at 11-7. I'm okay with James. I'm not on him today at all for I probably may sprinkle him in a few quarter GPPs just to get him in the line. But D'Angelo Russell, for his price tag being a few $1,000s cheaper, and I know, granted, he played last night. He had a monster game. I had told you guys yesterday that if D'Angelo Russell plays, he will be one of the guys that I had the high interest on, and I sure did. I jumped on him. I'm pretty much almost 50% of my lines last night on top of Andrew Wiggins, and even paired him with Andrew Wiggins, and they both had monster games, so that panned out really lovely for me. I do like D'Angelo Russell again here today. If I'm going to compare the three guys at the top, he's going to get the most usage. He's going to get the tons of shots. He's going to play probably 30 minutes or more tonight, unless we hear any news that he's going to get load management for whatever reason. He's not playing tonight, or he's going to get restricted minutes. Then I probably will sway over to a guy like Alexander or even Devontae Graham, because me being a GPP player, I do have interest in Graham, who has pretty good upside, 6,400. And then, of course, you got guys like Dennis Schroeder. But D'Angelo Russell has got to be the guy that I got to pencil in here for you guys. He probably might be one of the more popular guys. Maybe Harden will be a little bit more popular. I do think Alexander will be up there on high ownership, at least from what I see right now. So 8,400, his price tag is still relatively pretty darn good for D'Angelo Russell. 8,400, you need pretty much about 42 to me value. He's averaging 25, 4, and 6 during the course of the year. 40 minutes last night, huge amount of minutes, 52 points from the floor, 9-5. He had also 2 blocks, 3 steals, so he could be a little active. That's surprising. That's the first time this year he had that kind of defensive game. Again, it was just a paced-up game against Minnesota. 82 fantasy points. We do not expect to jump on him tonight because we expect him to get 82 again. Chances are he's not, but he is in a good position to definitely be able to meet value and exceed it. He has the upside to get you 50 or 60, so why not? D'Angelo Russell here is someone that I have some interest on today. He's shooting 42% from the floor, 35% from 3, taking about. Look at these numbers I jotted down here. In 3 out of his last 4 games, he has taken 21 plus shots from the floor and 40 shots altogether from 3. I mean, granted, his problem has been his shots have not fallen as much as they should for the amount of shots he's taken. If he buries them at a higher percentage clip, it's going to be ugly. He can get you 60 to 65 easy tonight. But we'll see what happens. But again, like I always say here, minutes, usage, and shots. If you can get those 3 and you can get somebody in a favorable matchup that he should be able to do that, there's a good chance that he might be able to get that. And that's what you want with fantasy points on top of. You want to find players that can get you all the extra peripherals like blocks and steals. All right. His usage rate is 31%, but of course, since Curry and Clay and Draymond Green have been out, it's up to almost 40%, 39% usage rate. So he is the man offensively, plain and simple. So we'll see what happens tonight. I like D'Angelo Russell, and if I'm not going to play Russell, like I said, I will have in some of my lines Alexander. I do like Devontae Graham. I think Levine could be a very sneaky play here at 7,900. And if you want to be really want to go for it on GPP, and I will do that myself because I do multiple lines, is Dennis Schroeder at 5,700. You got to consider him. He has tremendous upside. So it's a great GPP night for a guy like Graham, Schroeder, maybe even Josh Hart as well. All right. He's going up against OKC, 30.8 fantasy points per game, 2 shooting guards, and 34 fantasy points per game, 2 opposing point guards, and he plays mostly the point. D'Angelo Russell for Golden State, 42 for DeJounte Murray recently. Ball put up 34, Lillard 55, Westbrook 47. I think D'Angelo Russell is in a good spot. Small forward at the top, I'm going with Brandon Ingram. He has been the top dog for the New Orleans Pelicans. Granted, New Orleans is a paced-up team. They're not as good defensively anymore, and it's just because they got guys that can score. I mean, you got Holiday. Holiday's not the top dog anymore. If you look at the usage rate and the shots being taken, Ingram is the guy who's been leading the pack here on this team for New Orleans. But the thing is that you cannot go with a guy like Drew Holiday anymore simply because there's guys like Brandon Ingram and Alonzo Ball on the team, and these guys are offensive guys. They don't want to touch the ball. They need to touch the ball, and they're going to take shots. The same thing could be said for Josh Hart. But Brandon Ingram here, 8,800. He's getting up there in price. I do believe that he can meet value in this game, and I think he has the chances to be able to exceed value at least by 5 to maybe as much as 10 fantasy points. I do think he can get you 50 in this game, but he has to shoot well. As you can see here, he's averaging 26 points per game, pretty much 7 rebounds, nearly 4 assists. You could pretty much round that over to 4 assists. Last few games, 31-plus minutes, 31 and 37 here. He had 27 and 40 from the floor. Now, granted, I would love to see a little bit more peripherals here, and I like to see a little bit more rebounds and assists for his lanky, tall size. 55, it was his top score 2 games ago. He has hit 50 2 times this year, and he's been in the high 40s. So he has the potential to get you into the 50s. So he has 50-point upside. He's a good GPP play. He could be a good solid cash play in this matchup today. He's shooting 52% from the floor, 44% from 3. So he is doing very, very well this shot. He's taking 20 to 21 shots per game and about 7 to 8 threes. And again, like I said, minutes, usage, and shots. Again, you got to have the matchup, and the matchup is favorable for him. His usage rate thus far, okay, in the last few nights has jumped up all the way to 30%. In the last few nights with these last 2 games. Okay, those are very important. And when you're looking at fantasy points and you're looking at situations with players, you want to see if they're trending upward, they're going sideways, are they getting more minutes, are they getting more usage in the amount of minutes they're on the floor. He's going up against Charlotte. They're giving up 38.5 fantasy points per game to opposing small forwards. They did give up to Gordon Hayward 44 in their last game. TJ Warren put up 49. Glenn Robinson III put up 35. Harrison Barnes 40. And Kawhi Leonard 60. This is all in the last 5 games straight. So Brandon Ingram in an awesome spot here in a paced-up game against the Charlotte Hornets on the road. I do like Brandon Ingram here, and I'm willing to pay that price. So Brandon Ingram will slot in there in the small forward spot at power. Now, if you're looking at anybody here, I'm okay with Gallo at 6,700 in this game at home. I'm okay with Miles Bridges here, 6,100. You need 30 to meet value here. He has capabilities of getting you 35, maybe even 40. When you get down here to the lower mid-tier, I think guys like Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson could be some guys to watch out for here. Burks is getting up there in price. You need 25 from him, but he's averaging about 22. I think some guys you got to watch out for here, especially for Dallas with KP out. Obviously, Tim Hardaway gets a little bit of a bump. He gets about 22%. 22% for Tim Hardaway Jr. when KP is out. So at 3,700, he could be a nice value play for you guys today. I will have some consideration there. Another value play is Chandler Hutchinson at 3,600 for Chicago. Got to consider him. And then Justin Jackson is another Dallas guy that gets 22% bump in usage when KP is off the court. So Justin Jackson has to be another. So you could, again, I'm giving you a couple of top dogs here that are pretty respectable, but yeah, I'm also letting you know there is some value there. So keep that in mind. KP out, the value is with Dallas today. So Justin Jackson, Tim Hardaway Jr., and of course Boban Marjanovic, which I'll get to when I get to center, is an option as well. All right. let's go over the power forward. At power forward, obviously KP out with the rest. Lauri Markkanen is the one guy that I do like here. Even going in, if KP was playing, I was going to still be on Doncic a little bit. Markkanen at $7,000 is $1,300 cheaper than KP, but he has upside. And the only problem with Markkanen is that he's just had not been shooting well. He's been having a horrible year. At some point, things are going to take off for him. They need him to, because Chicago will win a little bit more games if this guy can actually get his shots down. He's getting more than enough shots, more than enough opportunity, and as you can see, his minutes are there, 29 or better in 3 straight games, 17 and 5. He's averaging 15, 7, and 2. At 7,000, you need 35. On DK, he's 6,300, so very, very good price for him on DK. You only need 32 to meet value there, and he is capable of getting you 60. As you can see, he did that in Game 1 of the season. He hasn't cracked 40 in a while. He's really had some really bad, poor shooting games. But GPP night, again, good upside for Lauri Markkanen, can get you 50. If he can get his shots to go down, he can be an interesting play here. He's shooting 39% from the floor and 30 from 3. But his usage rate, and again, his usage rate is down. I mean, last year he was averaging about 24, 25% for this team, and this year is down to 22%. So he's still getting over 20%, which is something that you definitely got to look at. But his shots, they just got to go down. Lauri, has got to go down. He is taking 11 to 12 shots a game, 5 to 6 threes, and again, at that 39 to 30% clip, it is pretty poor. But if he can get the shots to go down, like I said, he should do just fine. So hopefully tonight he'll be able to do that. He's going up against Houston. They have given up the most fantasy points per game to opposing power forwards in this particular slate. So that's another reason why I kind of like Markkanen. There's going to be some room there. He's kind of a stretch guy. He likes to take threes. If he can start burying some threes, the key thing for him, if he can take some shots early and they go down, he'll be able to be involved in his offense. They'll keep feeding him. He'll get in the flow of the team and of scoring, and then he'll get in rhythm, and that's when he can be dangerous. So hopefully that'll be the case. So they're going up against, again, Houston. Like I said, they've given up the most fantasy points to power forwards, 38 fantasy points per game going into this slate. And Prince, they gave a 48 to Prince. Pascal had scored 30 on them, and Ingram put up 57, Giannis 65. So, again, I think Lauri is in the position that if his shots go down, he should be able to bury them. And he should be able to do well here at 7,000. 6,300 on DK is a very nice price for Lauri Markkanen. At center, well, back on power forward. Other than him, I mean, Pascal has been getting quite a bit of minutes for Golden State. They're going to need him to play. Jaren Jackson, he is really cheap. He is definitely an option on DK. I was looking at DK. I did slot him in my DK roster for today. He's only 4,200 or something like that. 4,700 for Jaren Jackson for him on DK. That is ridiculous. I'm not high on him on this price here at 6,400. He's only been doing about 22 fantasy points per game on Fanduel. So 6,400 is a stretch, but then again, it's a GPP day, so you could possibly surprise. But at 4,700, man, damn, you only need 23 to meet value. I think he can get you that if he could stay out of damn foul trouble, man. So Jaren Jackson, get your act together, bro. So Jaren Jackson in play on DK. I'm not too high on him here. Other than that, I mean, maybe Kleber, here could be a possibility. Maxey could be an option here. Dallas is without KP, may get a little bump in minutes. But I already told you the guys that get the biggest usage jump are those other guys that I mentioned in Justin Jackson and of course, Boban Marjanovic. All right, let's go over to center. Wrap this thing up. At center, man, Capella obviously stands out as the best guy here on the slate. 8,900 is a bit of a stretch, but he can get you 50 or 60. Had a big game his last game out. I do like him here. I think I will sprinkle him in a few lineups. I don't think I need to go there. And, I think I like some of the guys in the other positions that I can pay up at. So I would be willing to pay down here at center today. And there's really nobody that really intrigues me. Jonas Valanciunas, if he were always, I always said it when he was in Toronto, if you've been following me long enough, if this guy could play, he's a point per 1.2 fantasy point per minute player. And he just doesn't get enough minutes, man. It's just, that's the biggest concern. So at 7,100, you need 35. I don't know if I want to go there. He's only been averaging 26 here. Wendell Carter, the same thing. He's probably priced about right. He's about a 32 to 35 fantasy point guy. Haven't seen him put up anything in the 40s or 50s thus far this year. Cody Zeller has been playing poor, 6,400. His price tag hasn't come down enough. If his price tag was under 57, I probably would consider him because I think he can smash. But he's not playing enough minutes. He hasn't played well as of late, so in the rotation, he's been losing minutes to Biyombo, and I'm not in favor of either one of the two, even on a paced-up game today. But then again, don't play them today, and probably he plays 25, 30 minutes and puts up 30, 35. Go figure. We'll see what happens, but I am not going to take that chance. Steven Adams, I do like. I think I will put him in about 20% of my lineups. I think that he could be someone that can get you 31, 32. He hasn't quite gotten there yet today, as of yet this year, not playing over 30 minutes. But if he can go over 30 minutes, if this game could be in the favor of OKC down late, I could see him, if he's not in foul trouble, could probably get 30 to 35. So he could be a nice little play here. I think you got to pay down. You can take your chances with Powell. Willie Cauley-Stein, if he could play 25, 30 minutes, I would take him here at $5,000. But he's playing. He got his most minutes last night. I think he put up I think he played 24 minutes. I like to wait and see when he gets to about 30, and hopefully his numbers and his price value is still not up. Jahlil Okafor, same thing, 4,800. You could probably go there if you want. That's pretty much where I'm at, man. So what I'm going to do here today is I'm just going to basically throw in here Boban Marjanovic, because I'm looking at the numbers. He doesn't play a whole lot of minutes. He's shooting 47% for the floor, not a whole lot, very small sample size, but he is a point per minute guy. He is productive when he's on the floor. He's very efficient. 12, 8, 20 fantasy points here in 15 minutes. Over here, got 12, nearly 13 fantasy points in 10 minutes. He can get you rebounds, can possibly get you a block here and there. He could score some points really close up front. I don't know how much they're going to use him, but when they have used him in these minutes, he has been productive. At 35, you only need 15. If he goes out and he plays 15, 20 minutes and gets me 20 to 25 fantasy points, have one of those kind of nights, I would love him there. So I'm willing to take a stab at him so I can pay up everywhere else. But again, guys like Clint Capella obviously makes the best sense. If you can get him in there, I would say go ahead and shoot for it. But I am willing, for the sake of the video, these are the guys I got. Doncic, Russell, Ingram, Markkanen, Marjanovic. Again, it's a GPP night, guys. Take some chances with some of these guys, especially the guys that are in position to do well. So the matchup has to be great. Other than that, man, I wish you guys a lot of luck today. No video tomorrow. As you know, NFL is tomorrow. I will be back on Monday with another NBA DFS video for you guys for that slate. And of course, we will have the announcement for who won the player pool for 1 week here starting next week. All right, guys? So make sure if you want to be a part of that, make sure you like, comment down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And other than that, good luck. Enjoy your Saturday night. Make some money. And the grind continues on Monday. I'll see you then.